lockdown started, or even a couple of days earlier. I think we're all going into something called as new normal. So we are trying to see what others have practiced, where they've already seen this uh, pandemic or the epidemic in their own country, like from China, Singapore, and Europe, US. So we have been seeing how people have changed their practices, at least to take the emergency cases, because as you know, some of our practices institute emergency patients coming in with lens-induced glaucoma, trauma, several conditions who had in the past. So we need to take I'm just going to share what are all the practices we have been doing in the last weeks. So with this outbreak, I'm sure safety of both the customers we are taking care, the patients, and also our medical team is our highest priority now. So what we did is we made an explicit thing in the media, through social media, newspapers, that we are only taking care of emergency and high-risk patients in the outpatient to begin with. So only people who have emergencies are now walking in. So if you just see Pondicherry, some people who have been here, there are 3 blocks. One is an inpatient block, the outpatient block, and the free hospital block. So we have tried down all the entries and we have only one entry at this point of time. So only the outpatient entrance of the paying facility is used for entrance of both the patients and the staff. So what we have done is we have kind of redesigned the entrance into an area where the registration has been moved, and also we have a vision testing, which is very close to the pharmacy. We have patients waiting here, and then used a coffee shop here, which is now converted into a trial. So I'll just show you briefly what's happening now. So the first thing we did, even before the lockdown started, was to fix wash basins here. So we immediately fixed wash basins. So we wanted to bring that habit not only to our staff, but also to the patients, the importance of hand washing. So we had liquid soaps, and then we had people to instruct them to at least wash for minimum 20 seconds. Only they entered into hospitals. And thermal cleaning was made and mandatory, both for our staff, so for the patients and the attenders, in case if we allow the attenders inside. So this gives you a clue if they have fever. Now, if they are asymptomatic, it's still difficult to find.
And also, the pre-registration is very important, where we take the details about whether they have been in any contact with COVID patients, people who have traveled from abroad. And also the consent form, which the All India Ophthalmic Society have shared. We have been using it the last couple of weeks. And we also give a mask to the patient, so that the patients wear the mask if they don't bring a mask on their own, so that both the people wearing a mask, the risk for the chance for transmission is very less. And what we have done is we have moved the registration outside, so that the registration happens in the entrance itself, where we have created a temporary area where patients can wait before they are triaged. And this vision testing also is now brought outside. So some of these LED screens are very useful. So you can have a 3-meter vision testing happening outside. And then this is very important. I'm sure many of you do this, the social distancing, your seating arrangement and all that has to be marked, and make sure we do that. And then the history is taken by either by a junior resident or a senior staff here, so that you can maintain a distance and get all the history before the patient enters into the triage area. Because this is very important. If you're going to sit and talk in front in the slit lamp, there is a chance for micro droplets to spread, either when you're talking or by chance you cough or sneeze. So it's good to take the history before you enter into the triage area. So the history is taken, and then we have converted a coffee shop, which is right in the entrance, a well-ventilated area, into a triage area now. So if you see, this is the coffee shop through which the patients go to the triage doctor. So basically, the triage person is seeing whether he needs an emergency care like conjunctivitis, foreign body, all that is taken care right there itself. And only patients who need any other opinion from other doctors, either anterior or posterior segment, they go inside. So we have one unit functioning for anterior segment and one unit functioning for posterior segment at this point of time, and doctors come in rotation. And if you carefully see, we have kept a fan here, which blows the air from the back of the doctor who is examining. So this again helps you in keeping those micro droplets away. And this cross ventilation is very important. From the window to the door, everything is kept open. So even within the clinics, all the doors are kept open so that the handling is less. So if you see, this is what I think the previously we have been discussing about. So we have developed some protocols for the triage expert to do. And as far as possible, they have well covered with their cap, mask, and also they are using a face shield. So this face shield was again a simple idea which was done with OHP sheet, but now there are a lot of face shields available and a lot more designs. It can be 3D printed very easily also. We also have a 3D printer and we are trying some of the models. But this is a very simple model which we have shared in our YouTube page called AuroTube. You can go and see, and then it can be done in less than 10 minutes by your technician. And whenever you are doing anything to the eyelid, it's good to have gloved hands and also not to touch directly. Use buds or something else so that you can separate the eyelids without touching the tears. Again, we don't have very good evidence, but still tears and conjunctiva can be a source for transmission of the virus. And all these slit lamps, I'm sure you're also using a shield like this. This gives definitely some amount of protection. And all the cases, like what I said before, are taken care in the triage area. And also we have kept some sample medications just to avoid them going to medical shop and buying. We have antibiotic, tear substitute, sample conjunctivitis packs, so that we give those packs and send them off immediately if they don't have any other problem. And after each patient, it's good to sanitize the slit lamp. You use alcohol, 70% alcohol, and then clean the chin rest, clean the areas where patient's face fall on it. And then if you suspect anything, you can also wash the gloved hands with soap, and you can dispose the gloves and then use another one. The other simple thing which we have done in the triage area for the square foot space which we have fixed 2 UV lights here. And then we keep this on at the end of the day for a couple of hours. And we have made that even that switch is protected so that people cannot just switch on that without knowledge. So we have kept that switch somewhere away from access to our staff. So this is done by the housekeeping team at the end of the day. And chairs, if you see, wherever the triage area and other areas where we are using, so we are using very limited of furniture within the hospital, and we have designated areas where they are supposed to be assembled. And also we try to clean it every 2 to 3 hours, including the wheelchairs if the patients are going on a wheelchair. And all the door handles, handrails, and everything are also in that day. And then most of the areas it's kept open. Even within the unit, refraction, we have brought it outside. You can see the autoref here, and the refraction cubicles are not used because the refraction cubicles are again very close chambers where the chance for infection is high. So we have brought the refraction outside, and we have advised them to clean all the lenses and the trial frame after seeing every patient. And this is the chart which has been brought outside. Again, for just social distancing, just close down the central chair so that people can use only 2 chairs on either side in the units. So again, because of aerosol, people are not recommending the use of non-contact tonometer. So it's not a good idea to use non-contact tonometer. It's good to do an eye care and change the pin for every case, or if you're doing an applanation, to clean the applanation head routinely. And whatever you see, even the shields have to be cleaned frequently after patient examination. You can see the shield has been fixed with all slit lamps, and the shield also has to be of good size, which covers nicely on either side of the eyepiece. When you come to surgery, at this point of time, we are doing only emergency cases. The list have been always traumas related to cornea, corneoscleral tears, phacomorphic, retinal detachment. People who have come with maybe endophthalmitis, who have done surgery elsewhere or outside, or even here, people who have come with endophthalmitis where they need a vitrectomy and things like that. So these are the surgeries which are going up. And And we are trying to make sure, again, the patients are admitted in one area in few rooms, which are also actually, we are giving them separate rooms depending on whether they can afford or not. We are just giving them single rooms so that there is no happening in the inpatient facility. And these are some of the very important aspects to keep in mind. No air conditioning at this point of time. All the air conditions, even though it's summer here in South, it's very hot. We have kept all the air conditions off. The windows and doors open for good ventilation, and all the curtains have been removed everywhere. Again, moving the curtains, moving the window, all these are again chance for our team to get infection. And all the doors are also kept open so that the touch is reduced. And any unassigned area like classrooms, libraries, wherever there is no movement or no usage, have been kind of locked for access to both the patient and the staff. And we know many of the people are anxious to come back for review, even post-operative patients, people who had lasers in the recent past, injections, who had surgery like glaucoma. So we are trying to call everybody and talk to them depending on the emergency basis. And we have talked to most of our follow-up patients in the last few months and telling them, don't worry, we can see you after, taper your steroids and things like that. And we have also started teleconsultation. We are doing it in 3 ways. One is the regular telephone calls, which we get. The second way, we are not very sure, but it's helping to some extent. On telephone calls, if they have some eye problems, they are taking an image of the eye and sending it on WhatsApp, and then we are giving a call back to them after seeing the images. And also we have created a telemedicine platform using Hangouts, and then we are doing telemedicine through internet also. But not many of the people are taking that. But many of the people are calling and sending images on WhatsApp. So by this, we are again seeing close to 70, 80 patients in each of our hospitals. So at this point, so this is some of the practices which we are doing. And every day we are learning new things.